Coming up this week on The High Road with Keith Warren.
I'm fixing to cook up some moose ribs for the gang.
This program is dedicated to the brave men and women of the United States military, past, present, and future. May God bless America. This is The High Road with Keith Warren. We are on a mission to unite all sportsmen.
This week, The High Road takes us north to America's final frontier and the breathtaking beauty of Alaska. The adventure begins in Fairbanks, where we'll be loading up a van and heading for the small town of Healy. That's home base for Castle Rock Outfitters.
Hello, I'm Brent Keith with Castle Rock Outfitters, owner and operator. We conduct hunts in the Alaska Range and interior of Alaska. We offer hunts for Dall sheep, moose, caribou, interior grizzly bear, black bear, wolf, wolverine, and offer some predator hunts in the wintertime as well.
Joining me on the hunt is Tony Linda. Tony's an old hunting buddy of mine, and he loves adventure, and so there's no question about it. This hunt in Alaska is going to be an adventure.
When you come into our camp, you'll take off by Super Cub. You'll be you, your rifle, and your gear, and you'll fly in for about a 30 to 35 minute flight in the main camp, where we'll meet you with the horses and pack you over to the cabins. The area I hunt is approximately 60 miles by 40 miles. I'll never be able to hunt it all. Just to keep the good trophy quality up, we'll spread all of our clients out throughout the area and just take a couple animals out of each camp. I get all kinds of hunters, but typically I'll get a hunter that's just retired. He's saved up for years for his adventure of a lifetime, and some of them even have a bucket list that they're working on. The country's great. They get here, and they immediately try to find a reason to come back up here and how to do it.
We just landed a little while ago, rain's starting. We got stuff loaded up. We're heading to camp right down that way.
First couple of days, Keith and Tony showed up at camp. It was miserable, rainy, windy, and to kick it all off, Keith was sick. Being the generous person he is, he passed it around to all of us.
And I basically stayed in the sleeping bag and tried to get feeling better, but then everybody else started catching what I had.
Started watching Keith Warren on his hunting and fishing adventure show years ago, and watched and saw the passion that he had for his way of life, hunting, fishing, and all that stuff, and called him up one day and offered him a sheep hunt, and he took the bait and showed up.
It's the second one, right?
Second one.
Broadside?
Yeah, walking away from us now.
He goes. On the top?
Yep. Got him. Take him again, take him again. Hold it. There's one calling into him. Hold it. Okay, he's out of sight. He's out of sight.
I hit him, didn't I?
Yeah, you hit him. We punished him proper like up and down those mountains, and he went home with a beautiful Dall sheep. And at that point, when we left each other's company there, he wanted to come back on a moose hunt, and we finally put it together.
The weather continued to be lousy, and, well, I still felt as lousy as the weather. I used this opportunity to reminisce on a trip that Tony and I had taken to Alaska back in February on a predator hunt.
The predator hunts I offer start up in November. It's an all-inclusive hunt. We pick them up in Fairbanks, put them up in a hotel before we head out the next day, and I have them purchase a hunting and trapping license. That way we can put traps on the ground, snares, as well as do some spot and stalk and some calling for the predators. And we'll be traveling by snow machine, and I have about 110 miles of trap line. It's a real good hunt. We get to cover a lot of good ground. If we're real lucky, we'll get some good weather, some good northern lights, and we'll keep running those all the way up into the end of March. Keith came up on a predator hunt, and he brought his good friend Tony. We had a heck of a good time, covered a lot of country, took home a beautiful silver fox. He did a marvelous shot on that, 248 yards or something. Beautiful shot. There's several different color phases of the fox. By far, the prettiest is a silver fox. And then right down to the wire, you got yourself a nice 121-pound gray wolf. It's outstanding.
The rain finally stopped, and we are stir crazy, and we'd be crazy to go up on the mountain because the clouds are way, way down low. So we're just going to sit it out, and hopefully in the morning, the clouds will be gone and we can start the hunt. But we're having a good time anyway.
The High Road with Keith Warren, brought to you in part by Savage Arms, Diamond Archery, Record Rack Deer Feeds, Bad Boy Multi-Terrain Vehicles and Bad Boy Mowers, and new supercharged scent killer by Wildlife Research Center, Beyond 99%. Join the High Road online at keithwarren.net. You're watching The High Road with Keith Warren.
While we were on the predator hunt, Tony and Keith were talking, and Keith expressed to Tony he was planning on coming up here this fall on a moose hunt, and right then and there Tony decided he was coming along with him. If anybody knows Keith Warren, he doesn't back down from a challenge whatsoever. So make it just about as tough as you can make it. He brought his bow with him, which it's tough to get close to him in that thick brush, and especially with a bunch of cows herded around the bull. But then we got to get it on video as well.
So I wound up, I'm using a Luminoc. I want to point something out, also using the Destroyer 350. Take a Luminoc, this is a lumen arrow, and the way you turn them off, a lot of people think that they stay on all the time. Just take and back it off, just like that, and it turns off. And the pressure from the string hitting it and loading the arrow with the energy is what turns it on. So all you have to do is pull it straight off, and here's a little tip to turn it off. Do not spin it and pull it out, because what you're doing at that point, you're reaming the inside of this out, and it won't work effectively. So to turn it off, pull it straight out.
As a good archer does, Keith was practicing here in camp with his bow, and I had a couple of German clients in camp at the same time. And they had never seen anything like that, and they just wanted to get a try at it. So Keith went ahead and let one of them give it a shot.
Bullseye! Wow!
And by golly, Frank let one fly, and he drilled it dead center, and the guy went berserk. It was great.
My German buddy, now he's an archer. That's an archer, that's what an archer's all about.
Depending on the weather and in the moon phase, we are surrounded by grizzly bears, wolves, wolverine, and although you don't get a chance to see them, or you might not get a chance to see them, they are there and they're right next door to you. I decided to set up a game trail camera on one of the kill sites from one of my previous clients, just to see what comes in there and utilizes that kill. When Keith showed up on the predator hunt, he left those cameras with me when it was all over with. And I brought him out in the field in the fall, and we were all surprised on what was right underneath our noses. Typically, you'll wake up in the morning, we'll have a nice hot breakfast for you. Cook will have it all ready to go, nice hot coffee, tea, hot chocolate, whatever you prefer. There'll be plenty of lunch materials in there. You'll get your lunch made up. More than likely, we'll stay out all day long. When we get back, we'll have a nice warm supper, sit down at the table, and we all get to tell each other what we did all day long.
We're here at base camp. This is our third night here at camp, and I'm fixing to cook up some moose ribs for the gang.
In camp here, we'll eat a lot of meat. We'll get a chance to eat sheep meat, moose meat, and the cook prepares it perfectly. You'll enjoy it very much. All the game that's harvested out here in these camps is utilized, whether the client takes it home for himself or I split it up between my guides or my family. It's all utilized.
The gal that's cooking for us, she is an awesome, awesome lady. Her name is Rona Cheatwood, and she's always got a smile on her face. She will always want to do whatever she can to make you happy. She actually calls her kitchen Fat Camp. And the reason why is because the hunters eat so well that most people, when you go on a hunt up here, you wind up losing weight. Well, if Rona's in camp, you're not going to lose weight because you're going to be going to Fat Camp.
The weather is finally cleared up. I'm still kind of sick, but I'm feeling a whole lot better that it's not raining. And what we're doing right now, the only way to really get around up here is by airplane, and they shuttle people back and forth by airplane, and we're waiting for Brent to pick somebody up on horseback, bring them into camp, do their paperwork, and then we're taking off on the hunt. So a little bit anxious right now. Last time I came up here with Brent, we didn't have horses. We had what we call the Ankle Express. So this hunt's going to be a little bit easier
I hope. One of our greatest assets are our horses. We've got great moose country, we've got great sheep country, but we got to get into it. With the horses, that allows us to take people that aren't in the best shape and get them out there and get after these critters. One of the other great things about them is it allows us to bring all that heavy moose meat back and get it flown out. Our horses aren't your typical American saddlebred horses. These horses are draft cross, which gives them really big, large feet, which helps get them out through that marshy, swampy area where we're looking for moose. And it helps support a client on top of them where that horse is big and strong and you don't have to worry about them falling over or any of that. They'll support you just fine up and down the rivers, through the swamps, up the mountains. They do just great. One of the most important employees that I have is a wrangler. She'll take care of the horses, get them fed, get them saddled for us while we're out eating breakfast and getting our gear ready. Then we can jump right on and get out there and get hunting.
Sit.
It's time for viewer feedback, brought to you by Bad Boy Multi-Terrain Vehicles and Bad Boy Mowers.
Fred Vickers from Pueblo, Colorado writes, Mr. Warren, I ran into you and your lovely daughter Maddie at the NRA convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. I watched them both grow up on your show and I want to commend you and your wife on a job well done. Maddie's going to be quite a handful though. Can you say daddy with a shotgun? I feel extremely optimistic about the future of our country to see kids like yours out there. They do have their heads on straight. Give my best to your wife and keep up the good work. Fred, I remember talking to you and thank you for the complimentary email. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of good kids out there, a lot of good kids. You know, the news unfortunately focuses on bad kids all too many times, but we've got millions of good kids out there. All we need to do as parents is push our kids not to be average kids, but be exceptional kids, and the cream's gonna rise to the top. I'm real optimistic because our country has got a lot of good kids in it.
Our website address is keithwarren.net.
The High Road with Keith Warren, brought to you in part by Glock, Reconyx Game Cameras, Chaffee Pasture in a Bag, Valley View Whitetails, Shadow Hunter Blinds, and Bert Coyote's Luminoc. All High Road programs are available on demand for free 24/7 at keithwarren.net. You're watching The High Road with Keith Warren.
So Brent, where are we in relation to where the last hunt I did with you, the sheep hunt, is?
We are about, I would say, as a crow flies, about 7 miles northeast.
So we're pretty close.
Yeah, right up that canyon, right there to the south. That big cloud's covering up that big black mountain.
We spent most of the day glassing the mountains for sheep, but they were few and far between up in the high country. Brent finally managed to spot some sheep on a mountainside a long ways off.
How many miles is that away, 30 or 40?
Obviously, they were way too far for us to make a move on. But then we saw this cow moose in a canyon below us, and we had a change in strategy.
We started up the river on a sheep hunt, and it quickly turned right into a moose hunt. And that's what we did. We moose hunted in sheep country.
We're gonna get up here and we're just gonna stay put and see if we can see a moose later on. Big old grizzly bear right now laid up underneath a tree just like we are, relaxing. Or he may be laid out in the sun, just enjoying this weather. He sure is nice. There's one thing for sure, you can count on the weather up here, that you can't count on it. That's a fact, you better come prepared.
We caught a glimpse of this cow making her way up the hillside. Then we saw the bull several hundred yards further up. Tony was up first, so he and Brent decided to attempt a stalk on this big bull.
When this old bull walked out, it was an old bull. You could look at his antlers and see the uniqueness to him and the body size and whatnot. And Tony just had to have him once we got a good look at him. A lot of people misunderstand the moose and they look at him like just one big dumb brown animal, but I disagree with that totally. To get a real nice big trophy bull, that bull's more than likely been herded around. Hunters have maybe made a pass at him or two. And to really get that big bull, an exceptional trophy, you really got to work at him. It's amazing how these big bull moose can just disappear in 2 steps, they vanish. Now it's just a matter of whether that bull will come back out of that brush and let Tony get a shot at him. I definitely don't want Tony to dump that bull moose in that brush. It just makes it even harder to get in there and butcher him up and get the horses close.
How far is he up there, Brent?
It's 318, Tony.
Okay.
He's gonna follow that cow, same path. Make sure he clears the brush. Make sure she's out of the way. Okay, when he turns broadside. All right there. Tony, take him right there. All right, good shot, wait. Okay, he's gonna move behind that. Okay, when he comes out of that brush, nail him again.
Okay, here we go.
Ready? Here, get him.
There he goes.
Nice shot.
Thanks, Brent.
Well, this is my first moose hunt up here with Brent Keith in Alaska, and we've been looking for sheep all day long, spotted a few, didn't see nothing that was legal. So we were on the way back down the river and looked up, spotted this moose, and decided we'd just make a run at him. It's kind of unique looking, so really weird looking back tines on both sides, symmetrical. So I just thought that was kind of odd and would make him a different looking mount. So we came after him. I didn't really care if he was a monster, just because he was unique. I want something different. And made about a 300-yard shot, and here he lays.
The High Road with Keith Warren, brought to you in part by Oilfield Camo, iHuntAmerica.com, BSA Optics, Gamo Air Guns, and Jardin Consumer Solutions, makers of the Game Saver. Keep up with Keith as he continues on the high road and become eligible to win some great prizes by becoming a fan on our Facebook page.
We've probably ridden about 3 miles up from the base camp where we started this morning, and Tony shot a moose a couple miles back up this canyon here. What we're going to do, we're going to be setting up a spike camp here. We're going to go up there and sheep hunt, retrieve the moose, come on back down, and probably go back over here and look and see if we can find any sheep. And then if we don't do any good on the sheep, we're going to load up and head up to another camp up above. This is the moose that Tony killed. We took as much meat out as we could. He shot it in the afternoon, took as much out as we could. We've come back to get the balance of it. The birds have been up here. You can see where they've been picking on the rib cage pretty good, but they haven't messed up the rest of the meat. We're going to haul it out. That's a #1 priority right now, and then we'll get back to hunting. When you come, make sure and bring a good camera with you, both video and still camera, because you can't take a bad picture up here. Everything is beautiful. Everything. The animals, the mountains, everything is beautiful. So bring something to document your trip and take it back with you. As you can see, we've got Tony's moose antlers tied up here. The meat, what's left of it, is all on the horses, and we are going to pack them up, head down. Then the girls are going to take the horses and the meat back. We're going to get in the bottom. We're going to ride up looking for sheep.
We were on our way out of the area when we spotted this bull moose less than 50 yards away. Brent determined that the bull was not a legal shooter.
A legal bull moose in the area that I hunt has to be 50 inches or greater, or at least 4 brow tines on one side.
We decided to just sit back and watch as this bull really put on a show.
First week of season, you'll find these moose pretty solitary, maybe a couple of them hanging out together. And as the season progresses, they'll start traveling looking for cows, and they'll start pushing each other around just to see who's dominant and who's bigger and whatnot. And then they'll finally start to get into an area where they got a few cows herded up. They'll start building wallows, basically urinating in a spot, digging the hole out, stomping in it, splashing that stuff around them just to get their scent out there, see if they can get some lady friends.
It's a shame that bull is not legal. You need to have at least 4 brow tines on one side, or be at least 50 inches wide.
The rut is just starting. It's getting underway. We've got 2 days left of sheep hunting. We're going to go up about 5-6 miles up to another camp that Brent's got up in the top here, and we're going to try our luck for Dall sheep. And then after that, we've still got 5 days left to try our luck for moose, and hopefully by then the rut will be wide open. We can call one in within bow range so I can stick him with an arrow.
Be sure to stay tuned because the great Alaskan adventure will continue on next week's show. For more information on hunting opportunities with Castle Rock Outfitters, give my friend Brent Keith a call at 907-683-1250, or you can visit castlerockoutfitters.com.
Just one of the things that makes our country great is the freedom of private land ownership. And to celebrate that, we have created a brand new program called Ranch Properties TV that airs right here on the Pursuit Channel. To find out more about Ranch Properties TV, log on to ranchpropertiestv.com.
If you have a question, comment, or story you'd like to see on the high road, let us hear from you online at keithwarren.net. Closed captioning is brought to you by new Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center. Beyond 99%.